is that no official government records of the gold or its disappearance has ever been found.
The readings we had before of metal underneath gold and silver were all gone.
There was 7 to 9 tons of gold on that hilltop.
Losing this much gold would have been a huge embarrassment to the Union.
The ground-penetrating radar screamed. 9 tons of metallic density consistent with gold lay buried deep in the Pennsylvania woods. For treasure hunters Dennis and Kem Parada, it was the moment of a lifetime. The fabled Civil War gold treasure finally within reach. But when the FBI moved in, things took a turn no one expected. Renowned adventurer Josh Gates later investigated this astonishing claim, peeling back layers of secrecy. The thing nobody tells you is that this wasn't just a failed dig, it became a full-blown legal battle with unsettling evidence suggesting the FBI knew much more than they let on. Prepare for a bombshell revelation that could rewrite history. The Pennsylvania Riddle. Enter Dennis Parada and his son Kem, seasoned treasure hunters and co-owners of Finders Keepers. They weren't content with campfire stories, they sought proof. For years, they combed the rugged landscape equipped with sophisticated metal detectors and ground-penetrating radar. Their search was a testament to sheer perseverance, involving countless trips into the remote wilderness, enduring harsh weather, and navigating challenging terrain. The Dense Run area, located about 135 miles northeast of Pittsburgh, is known for its rugged beauty but also its unforgiving nature. What many overlooked is the scientific precision the Paradas brought to their hunt.
Let them essentially look down under the surface of the earth. Every one of these tests that the Paradas did, every indication was that it was gold.
They weren't just digging randomly, they were systematically mapping the earth beneath their feet.
They've spent years searching for this lost loot, and they're about to hit pay dirt.
Then came the breakthrough that would shake the treasure hunting world to its core. Their advanced equipment, specifically their gravimeter, began to register something extraordinary. Deep beneath the surface, the instruments lit up with readings indicating a massive anomaly. To put it mildly, this wasn't just a few stray coins. The readings pointed to an underground object, a colossal metallic mass estimated to be between 7 and 9 tons in weight. The density detected was consistent with gold. To visualize this, imagine a stack of gold bars perhaps 5 feet by 5 feet by 8 feet deep. This wasn't just a significant find, it was an utterly staggering amount of precious metal, potentially worth hundreds of millions of dollars in today's market. Many experts believe that if indeed it was gold, this would be one of the largest discoveries of its kind in American history. This monumental discovery brought the Paradas face to face with the dilemma: how to secure such a vast treasure legally and safely. They decided to do the responsible thing, contacting federal authorities. In January of 2018, they approached the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presenting their compelling evidence.
There was as much as 7 to 9 tons of gold down there, which in today's currency would be somewhere in the range of $400 to $600 million.
They shared the readings, the maps, and their unwavering conviction that they had located the long-lost Civil War gold. The FBI, initially cautious, recognized the potential significance. After all, the legend, however unproven, concerned U.S. government property. The most shocking fact is that the FBI, after conducting its own geophysical survey with an outside contractor, EnviroScan, confirmed the Paradas' findings. EnviroScan's report, reviewed by independent geophysics professors, validated the presence of a substantial underground metallic mass consistent with the density of gold. This was a critical turning point. The myth had suddenly become a tangible prospect, backed by scientific data.
The FBI takes control of the dig site, and what happens next is a conspiracy theorist's dream.
With this validation, the FBI obtained a court-authorized warrant to excavate the site. The official purpose was to seize 1 or more tons of United States gold, according to sealed court documents later revealed. This legal move alone suggested the agency took the claim very seriously, far beyond merely investigating a folktale. The treasure hunters, the Paradas, were naturally eager to be part of the excavation. They had spent years dedicated to this quest and hoped to be eligible for a finder's fee, a common practice in treasure recovery. However, what happened next would spark a controversy that continues to this day, leading to accusations of a shocking government cover-up. It was a chain of events that would draw the attention of renowned investigator Josh Gates, who sought to uncover the truth behind the perplexing Dents Run mystery. What happened when the FBI finally started digging? The real story is far from what was officially reported. Eyewitnesses speak out. The stage was set for what should have been a historic retrieval. On March 13, 2018, the FBI, accompanied by the Paradas, arrived at the remote Dents Run site. But the promise of transparency quickly dissolved into a shroud of secrecy. The Paradas, who had led the FBI to the spot and had an initial agreement to observe the excavation, were shockingly kept away from the immediate dig site. To put it mildly, they were confined to their car, often out of sight, while federal agents conducted their work. This immediate exclusion of the discoverers, you see, was the first red flag for many. Why would the government suddenly sideline the very people whose expertise and equipment had brought them to this monumental find? The FBI's official statement following the dig was swift and unequivocal. Nothing of value was found.
There's nothing but a big empty hole. The FBI says they didn't find anything.
They claimed the excavation yielded no gold, no silver, no precious metals whatsoever.
Back the day after they dug with all my equipment, and we didn't get no more gold or silver readings.
The large excavated hole was reportedly empty when the Paradas were finally escorted to see it. They were told their long years of searching and the sophisticated instrument readings had all led to a bust. It was a crushing blow, making them feel, as Dennis Parada later recounted, like dummies. However, the story the FBI presented clashed dramatically with a growing chorus of eyewitness accounts from local residents. Many people living near the Dents Run site reported hearing and seeing things that directly contradicted the FBI's official narrative. Neighbors spoke of loud clanking noises echoing through the woods late at night, well beyond the permitted daylight digging hours of 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Hillside, I said, it was so bright. They had the biggest lights out there.
One elk guide, Eric McCarthy, and his client, Don Reichel, were out antler hunting one morning hours before the FBI's stated start time when they heard heavy machinery operating. They even spotted FBI-marked vehicles, including what appeared to be heavily loaded armored trucks, leaving the site under the cover of darkness. This kind of activity, a continuous round-the-clock operation, was far from the limited daylight excavation the FBI publicly claimed. The most shocking fact is the discrepancy in timing. Official FBI timelines stated personnel arrived at 8 a.m., yet locals reported activity as early as 3 hours before that. The presence of armored vehicles was another critical detail that fueled suspicion. FBI spokespersons later denied that armored trucks were among the appropriate vehicles and equipment brought to Dents Run.
Loaded up armored trucks with a stockpile of gold bars, made off with the stash, and then denied it all.
But eyewitnesses were adamant about what they saw. You can see this everywhere in such treasure stories. Conflicting accounts between official bodies and local observers often point to something more happening behind the scenes. This wasn't just a matter of differing recollections, it was a fundamental disagreement about the very nature of the FBI's operation. If nothing was found, why the secrecy? Why the exclusion of the Paradas? And why the heavily secured late-night activity, complete with specialized vehicles? The entire affair began to smell of a cover-up to many observers, including journalist Warren Gettler, who had been working with the Paradas. He, along with the Finders Keepers team, believed the eyewitness accounts strongly suggested a clandestine overnight dig where the gold was indeed recovered and then discreetly removed. The FBI, however, maintained its stance, offering cryptic remarks about an ongoing investigation and later claiming that court documents related to the dig were sealed due to ongoing litigation. This lack of transparency, the abrupt closure of the site, and the stark contrast between official statements and local reports only deepened the mystery. The question wasn't just about lost gold anymore. It was about the integrity of a federal agency. This unsettling sequence of events would ultimately push the Paradas to take their fight to court, hoping to force the truth into the light.
The FBI disappeared from the site. The Paradas were devastated and confused that nothing at all had been discovered in there.
What they would uncover through legal means would only amplify the WTF factor surrounding the Dents Run enigma. The true nature of the FBI's actions became a battleground of legal documents, the seizure and the silence. The FBI's denials and the glaring inconsistencies with eyewitness accounts lit a fire under the Paradas and their legal team. They refused to accept the official story. Their path to truth led them through the complicated corridors of the Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA.
File a Freedom of Information request to obtain all documents related to the FBI's dig.
This legal action was a bold move, forcing the United States Department of Justice to potentially release records concerning the mysterious Dents Run excavation. What many overlooked is that this wasn't just a quest for gold. It became a fight for government transparency, a battle against what some perceived as a deliberate obfuscation of facts. Initially, the FBI claimed to have no files related to the investigation. This, to put it mildly, was a staggering assertion given their extensive presence at the dig site and the court warrant they had obtained. After persistent legal pressure and an order from the Justice Department for a more thorough review, the FBI eventually admitted to locating thousands of pages of records and several video files. However, the saga was far from over. The agency then invoked various exemptions to public disclosure, dragging its feet on releasing the full trove of information, citing concerns about ongoing litigation and potential harm to law enforcement tactics. The thing nobody tells you is that this kind of resistance often signals that there's something significant being withheld. When some documents finally saw the light of day, they only deepened the enigma. For instance, a confidential 2018 email from an assistant U.S. attorney in Philadelphia released through the FOIA lawsuit stated, "We believe the cache itself is in the neighborhood of 3 by 5 by 8 feet to 5 by 5 by 8 feet. This internal communication directly contradicted the public stance of finding nothing. It provided concrete evidence that the FBI was indeed expecting to find a substantial hoard.
Believers of this extraordinary story say there are no records because of a cover-up.
The most shocking fact is that the name of the sealed federal case, also unearthed during the legal process, was "in the matter of seizure of 1 or more tons of United States gold." The use of the word seizure instead of search or dig strongly implies that something was, in fact, taken. Further discrepancies emerged from the materials that were released. Many of the hundreds of photos provided by the FBI were in low-resolution, high-contrast black and white, rendering them almost useless for discerning details like the time of day or even the exact objects depicted. Critical gaps existed too. There was no video footage for the entire second and final day of the dig. Moreover, there were no photos or videos of what an FBI's own hand-drawn map described as a 30-foot-long, 12-foot-deep trench, a massive excavation that treasure hunters argued could only have been completed with heavy machinery working through the night. These missing elements, you see, cast serious doubt on the FBI's claim of a straightforward, empty-handed operation. Josh Gates, in his investigations for expedition files, highlighted these very anomalies. His show brought national attention to the Parada's plight and the perplexing actions of the FBI. Gates, with his knack for uncovering historical secrets, meticulously presented the evidence. The scientific readings, the eyewitness accounts, the internal documents, and the glaring holes in the FBI's released records. It became clear that the official story of the Dents Run dig was, at best, incomplete, and at worst, a calculated deception. Many people are crazy about uncovering hidden truths, and the FBI's actions here only fueled that fire. The legal battle continues to unfold, with judges pressing the FBI for more transparency, yet definitive answers remain elusive. The implications are enormous. If a federal agency can secretly recover and withhold such a significant historical treasure, what else might be hidden from public knowledge? The questions linger, leading us to wonder about the broader implications of such a mysterious event. The lingering mystery begs the ultimate question: what really became of the gold? Nation's hidden hoard. The tale of the Civil War gold at Dents Run, as illuminated by Josh Gates and the relentless pursuit of the Paradas, transcends a simple treasure hunt. It has evolved into a compelling examination of government accountability, historical truth, and the enduring human fascination with hidden riches. The sheer scale of the alleged treasure, 9 tons of gold potentially worth hundreds of millions of dollars, adds an almost unbelievable layer to the narrative. To put it mildly, such a find wouldn't just be a historical curiosity, it would be a significant national asset, raising profound questions about its rightful ownership and purpose. The official denial from the FBI, claiming they found nothing, stands in stark contrast to the scientific data, internal documents hinting at a planned seizure, and the consistent testimonies of local residents. This isn't a small disagreement, it's a fundamental clash between an official narrative and a mountain of circumstantial evidence. What many overlooked is how this situation chips away at public trust. When a government agency acts with such secrecy, especially concerning something as tangible and valuable as a massive gold hoard, it invites speculation and the belief that a profound secret is being actively maintained. You see, the Civil War was a tumultuous period, and the movement of vast sums of money, especially gold, was fraught with peril. It's plausible that a shipment could have been lost or deliberately hidden. Confederate sympathizers were active in border states and beyond, and the chaos of war provided ample opportunity for such events to occur. The most shocking fact is that if the Dents-run gold was indeed Union property, as the FBI's own warrant suggested, its recovery and subsequent concealment by the government would represent a remarkable and highly questionable act. This isn't about private property, it's about a national treasure, potentially removed from the public eye for reasons yet unknown. The Dents-run saga, brought to light by Josh Gates, is more than just a treasure hunt. It's a gripping tale of hidden history and enduring questions. Was the Civil War gold secretly taken by the FBI, leaving us with more questions than answers? Like and subscribe for more untold stories.